Welcome to Yeshiva Daf Shir sponsor Lo Nishma Sarek Shalom Lev Basitzchok. We're holding in Sanhedrin Daf Samach Zayin. This was the daf that was given on Shabbos, and we're just reviewing it. So the Mishnah, HaMesis Zehed Yut. The Mesis is he's an individual. The one who's going to tell us coming to exclude a novi. The HaMesit Esehed Yut. So he is coming to influence a individual to do over this done. Omar, what's the example of a Macy, someone who's encouraging or persuading somebody to do something wrong? Omar Yeshira b'mokaploy. So there is a Zara in this place. Kach echeles, kach shoyso, that she eats, that she drinks. Kach metiva, kach meria. We saw it earlier. She does good, she does bad. Kol chayvei misu shebatoyro ein machminim aleim. Any other person, you don't go and try to entrap them. This is the only one that you have entrapment. People are there, and he's gonna try to trick a person to do something wrong. What is it? Let's get more explain. Mishnah explains. Starting with, he told two people, "Hey, Meitov, they're dating. Bring it to base in the killer." I told one person, he says, I have a friend who wants to come in and join. In other words, he wants to have two Eidim testifying on him. If he's very smart, he says, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to take that risk. So then, so then you put Eidim behind the fence. In other words, entrapping it. Tell me what you told me when I was alone. He tells him, I'm going to leave a Koshboch and go worship Eitziv Avonim. If he changes his mind, good. He says, no, that's our obligation. Good thing to do. So then they bring it to Beis and they kill him. If you realize very clearly, in the second case, they start with one, they give him another chance. He tells him, how can I go do such a bad thing? In the first case, when he speaks in front of two, then right away you take him to Beis Din. I'm going to worship, or I'm going to go and worship, so it's a little more distance, or I'll go with other people, so more distance. Similarly, Ezbach, for Korban, Elech ve'ezbach, Nech ve'ezbach. Aktir, putting on the fat, Elech ve'aktir, Nech ve'aktir. And Nasech, putting the wine, Elech ve'nasech, Nech ve'nasech. Shtachave, Elech ve'shtachave, Nech ve'shtachave. It's all buying down. So what happens in all these cases? In all these cases, we're talking about the one who's perceiving in the case of Hasata. Now, who are we talking about? Who's saying these words? So Rashi over here, Mashma, that the one who's makes it says the words. The Rashi Leil, we spoke earlier, he said the one who says these words is the Nisas, meaning the one who was persuaded. So that's and the Ramah over here discusses it. So the question is, we talk about the one who's talking and one who is listening to. Says the Gemara, Mesis Zehed, time of the Hedyot, and Novi bechenek. Mashlafka Hedyot, not a Novi. Novi gets chenek. Even though it's counterintuitive that a Novi will be less of a Misa, we'll get to the basis in a few days. For Mesis Hedyot, time of the Yochid, because he convinced one. Ad Rabbi does it for a whole city bechenek. That our mission was like a Shimon. The Daniel, Novi Shidiach was kilo. Rabbanon old, and Novi did a Dacha, it's Chayas kilo. Shimon Bechenik. Midicher Dachas, the ones who convinced the city, was kilo. That's what Rabbanon say. Shimon Bechenik. Even say, look at the next mission. Hamediach Zoymanech and avoid the Voskachov. Oma Vido Marav, Midicher Dachas. What is the next mission talking about? Mediach. That's here in Dachas. And there he speaks about skilo. Rabbanon, ratio of Shimon to Rabbanon, two Mishnahs. First Mishnah of Shimon, second Mishnah of Rabbanon. Second Ravino, my cool Rabbanon. So he says it's not only when he persuades one, but even persuades the city. Not only if he does it for a Yachid, even not only if a regular guy does it, even a Novi. Even though Shimon argues in that. So the second Mishnah is the building on top of the first Mishnah. What I'm like, Kitani Macy's Hedyot Lachbon. Kitani Macy's says not Hedyot Lachbon. Rashi explains The Masid, we're treating him in a lower way than any other person because we're going to trap him. Although Mrs. you don't entrap him. With a candle in the inner room. Outside. So we have to see him and hear his voice. Then we're sharing discuss over here where I have to see him. Don't we just rely on the voice? Who ain't a royal, so it doesn't see them. He says, tell me what you told me. He says, something we saw in the Mishnah. Worship of the Zara. He changes mind good. He was saying, he said, that's the right thing to do. So as it's on the Mishnah, says the only time you're entrapping, and that's why it says over here, Hedyot. Nothing is a Hedyot on Novi. We treat him in a lower way. Now there's a Girsa in our Gemara that is missing. The Akos Tzionim brings it. The censorship took it out. The Girsa is the Chen also would have been Satat Balud. But Satat Balud also they entrapped him. The Tlu Be'er Pesach and hang there Pesach. So Ben Sadato Ben Pandiro. He's not a son of Sadato. He's a son of Pandiro. Baal Sadato Boil Pandiro. The father, the husband, was a Jew. His name was Sadato. The Roman soldier who did the Be'ilo, his name was Pandiro. So more Paul was Ben Yehuda. We know his name was not Sadato. So more Eleimo Imoy Sadato. His mother was Sadato. Imoy, Miriam Megadu and Ashavosh, her name was Miriam. In other words, her name was Miriam, but they called her Sadato because she left her husband. And the Pasha, well, after the session we took it out, talking here about Yoshke, and this goes into the discussion, how does this fit with the Gemaras that says that Yoshke was a Talmud of Shubin Prachya, so it's a different Kufa, and many explain, some of the Rishonim explain, there were two Yoshkes, one more than a few hundred years before, over 100 years before Chorban Abayis, one at the time of Chorban Abayis, and that's the Yoshke that we know that started Christianity. Look the Mishnah. Someone is telling people to do Avodas Kachavim. As we mentioned before, he always tells it to a full city. Someone who does witchcraft, sorcery, not someone who's just pretending. We started earlier, the shita that says Me'oinin is Oiches Dainayim. So it's a lot. And that's what the Rambam brings. And we're not going to it right now, but it's a big discussion that according to many Rishonim, any illusionist, any magician is also. That's the Pashas the Rambam in Sefer HaMitzvos, and that's the Bach and the Shach. And Ramosh has a tshuva on it to come and explain what do we rely on. You have two people taking gourds. And they're doing kishu. One is looking for potter, one is looking chayav. Someone's doing an actual ma'aseh chayav. One is looking potter. Here's the mashmos. Many we should learn that means using some sorcery to pretend. As we mentioned before. Could be man and woman. A female. Women are the ones who usually kishuv. How do you kill machshefa? Basically, talk about with a sword. Rabbi Akiva Omer. Rabbi Akiva Omer nemakar machshefa l'sechayim malolem b'mayim ish lo yichya techayim malolem b'skila of kama skila. It's not with a sword, it's with a skill. Well, I need down to I'm using the word losechai, it's the exact same word. Why are you using a word which is not exact? I'm learning Yisrael from Yisrael, meaning that we say by Nidachas. And we're saying by Har Sinai. Because of Yisrael, but there's many mitzvahs by Yisrael. You bring a pasuk from when they go to war, you can't from a guy, there's only Misa to begin with, one Misa. It's a smichus. The book beskilo. Because of smichus, you do skilo. From here you learn that Yehuda holds We don't learn smuchim except in separate dvar. And lo'iv yidyon b'chal v'chash v'yu v'lamayot l'kishalem v'loim l'cho. Lo'iv yidyon is one of the lists of machshefim. It went out of the list to get its own skilo. Ma'lo'iv yidyoni b'skilo amichash b'skilo. They're both b'skilo. So the more Rabbi Yudo now lev lo'iv yidyon yishnikso yibayim keichod choshesim yibayim keichod imelamdim. It's two. It's lo'iv yidyon. So two can't teach on the whole rule. This teaches you we hold that do teach. Says the Gemara, why they call Kshofim? It denies Pamal Shamal. The Gemara goes on and says, even for Kshofim. She was going to look to take out the earth beneath the legs of Chanina to do Kshofim. Only Mistayet, Zile Abdi. If you are successful, go ahead and do it. I'm not worried. They do not Kish Pamal Shamal. Shani of Chanina, the Nefesh Chus, he has a lot of Chusim. So you have a beautiful Nefesh Chaim that says, when Chanina relied on his Chusim, it says that's Chusim. A person can live his life in Einun Milvadet. There is kishuv in the world, but if a person wants, he can elevate himself to be connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you'll be saved. Says Nefesh Chaim's unbelievable zgula to be saved from many bad things. Go with the approach Einun Milvadet. In the Shulchan Daf, we're maching this, explained based on this very difficult Rambam. So lateim without a hay, that's shading. With a hay, it's kshofim. So you see that lat is something that goes on its own. Well, by the copy the money, if you need a kli, shade. To look with the money kshofim. If you don't need a vessel to do it, that's kshofim. Well, by kichos kshofim kichos shabbos. Yesh ben beskilo, yesh ben poter v'lastor, yesh ben muter chatchila. In kshofim, there's different levels. Some of them have skilo, some of them poter v'lastor, some of them muter chatchila. Why is the ma'aser beskilo? Not actual ma'aser beskilo. Why does zaynayim just doing pretend poter v'lastor? We saw before they call Ma'al Shabbat every Shabbos. Have a Yiskin Ask Bechas Yitzira. They learned Sefer Yitzira. Umirvelo Eagle Tilto. They created this animal. They ate it. I saw the father of Karno that he was a wizard, and his sneeze came at cold from his nose. Something more the power of Etzba Lokimi, a shade cannot create less than a very small creature, less than a barley. You can't create anything. He can gather camels, he can't gather lice. I'm just going to see a few more words, and then we'll end with an interesting kud over here. Only rally I feel the shackles of Sira the he took his knife, cut his camel, he knocked on made a little noise. The camel came up. Was there any blood or fat? He says that wasn't real, it was just a pretend. Someone was buying a donkey. He gave him water. Became a board that you put on the bridges. He loves the area. He said, we never will give you back the money, but we give you back the money. Anybody buy here in Egypt, the place of kshofim, it doesn't check it with water. So you see, water checks kshofim. If you put it in the kshofim, they dissolve in water. It says Ben Yoda, that's why you go to the mikveh. Go to the mikveh, all the tumor, kshofim goes away, stays only the adam. Yana wasn't a Rav Yanai, he was a wizard. Give me water to drink. Trying to drink, he sees that they gave us the drink and they're mumbling something. He threw it on the floor, it became scorpions. I gave you, I'm going to drink from you, you drink from me. Gave him to drink. He gave the drink to the host. She was a woman. She became a donkey. He rode in her and went to the market. So came her friend and put water on her. He was riding a woman in the market. There was only one frog. And from there came many frogs. This one frog filled up Eretz Yisrael. Well, Bilozo ben Azario, Akiva Malachetz Lagodo, why go to Lagodo? Go to the Goy Baholus, go to the Goy Baholus. In other words, he disagreed with him. So there, also Shokalem and Bo, it made a big noise and called all the frogs to come. So what's the likud over here then? So this really summarizes the last few lines. The Beis Halevi says it. What comes out of here is like this. Kishuf doesn't create something new. It just takes something and turns it around. Take a piece of wood and made a donkey out of it. It takes a woman and makes it into a donkey. Right? It changes something. Shade gathers. That's the two ways of doing it. Says the Beis Halevi. That's why it says when Moshe Rabbeinu brought his stick made into a snake, it says the Chetumim use lahateim, which is kishuv. They turned the wood into a snake and back and vice versa. But when he did the water into blood, then the Chetumim used latem, not with a hay. Why? Because water can't do kishuv. They have to bring blood for someone else. So that's what it explains very gishmak over here. So mainly, I want to say that's the shot over here in Sfardia. Rabbi Akiva says one Sfardia, and the Sfardia, they can't create anything new. One Sfardia, there are many small Sfardim. That can be kishuv. Kishuv can't create something new. So why the Chetumim said it's by Elokimi only by kinning? The fact they said only by kinning, that means until then they figure out in Dam and Sfardia, they figured they could do it themselves. That's what Elazar ben Azai says. It wasn't that he just gathered many frogs like the Shadim do. And there's more to talk about this, but we'll stop over here. And Be'ez Hashem will continue from the bottom of here. And the next half, a good Devach, a wonderful week.